So good evening to all of you and welcome to this session. Today I'm going to talk about data science. What is data science? And we will also learn about machine learning, deep learning, and how they are related with data science. And basically we'll also try to understand the importance of data and how data science is a more of an interdisciplinary field rather than it can be like it cannot be defined by a simple definition. Okay. So first of all, so data science, simply there is not a single definition by which we can define data science. It is more of an interdisciplinary field. It involves a lot of concepts from different domains of study like computer science, AI, business, and mathematics, statistics. So it is more of an interdisciplinary field. So for now, I think it will be very quick to give a definition. Rather, first we will try to understand a few of the applications, and then as we move forward, the idea behind data science will become more and more clear. As we discuss applications, as we realize the importance of data, then with time, the idea behind data science will also become clear. So let us talk about probably two of the most important applications and most in trend fields in the industry. First one is business analytics or data analytics. Okay. And then after that, we will discuss AI, ML, and deep learning. So business analytics is all about solving or helping businesses derive some information from data or describing the problem or helping them in their decision-making process. So any process related to analytics can be divided into three categories, or any process basically falls into one of these three categories. It can be either descriptive, it can be predictive, or it can be prescriptive. Now, what is a descriptive process? So a descriptive process is all about describing a problem. For example, let's say there's certain organization, so they are having problems with their sales or their product not satisfying the customer satisfaction, or problems related to a specific field, let's say marketing, which field, which medium of marketing is behaving or giving best results, or which medium is failing, or maybe logistics. So there can be a lot of problems. So a lot of domains, and then there can be a lot of problems with them. So descriptive analytics is all about describing the problem. For example, if the customers are not satisfied with the product, then a lot of data is needed, mainly in the form of their feedback. So data descriptive analytics is all about performing some statistical tests on that data, understanding the patterns, and then trying to come up with answers that why this problem exists. Basically, descriptive analytics is all about understanding the problem or what went wrong. So assuming all of you are students, a simple example can be, let's say you are facing some symptoms such as cough, cold, and everything. And for the solution or for the treatment, you go to a doctor. So the first thing that the doctor will do is he will perform some tests. He will prescribe, or basically he will advise you to take some tests, blood tests, or maybe some scans. Based on the results of those tests, he will basically analyze, he will study your symptoms, he will understand those tests, he will study those results, and then based on that, he will come up with a few conclusions. Let's say if some infection is there, so he might say, okay, there are chances of being COVID infected, or let's say if the blood pressure is high, then maybe he may suggest you may have hypertension, or based on basically the tests and symptoms, he will describe something. So that process is similar to descriptive analytics. So we can call it diagnosis, basically diagnosing the problem, what exactly went wrong. And the next process can be predictive. So it is all about predicting what may happen. Okay, if let's, in case of our example, our analogy, the doctor will definitely scare you by telling some, we call it prognosis. The doctor will tell you if the symptoms are overlooked, or if the correct advice is not taken, or the correct treatment is not followed, then these might be the future consequences. Similarly, in case of a business, let's say once the first process is complete, then in the next phase, it can be said that if this has, if this, if certain steps are not taken, then this problem may persist, or it may even become bigger. So predictive is all about uh, saying what may happen. Descriptive, what went wrong. Predictive, what may happen or what will happen. And then the next phase is prescriptive. So in case of our example, the doctor will definitely prescribe some treatment or some medication, some routine diet. Basically, he will advise about how we can get rid of this problem. So same concept is with prescriptive. So if a business organization has some problems, then they hire a data scientist, and then the job or role of a data scientist may fall into one of these three categories. He may perform some descriptive analytics, some predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. So this was all about a definition. But the main point is, to complete any of these three tasks, the major requirement is data. Without data, none of these is possible. So here we have understood that data plays a major role and in business analytics or data analytics, no matter what type of process we are talking about. Now let us talk about second application, which is really in trend these days, or we can even say this decade, which is AI, ML, and DL, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Okay, so here we should spend some time and really try to understand what is the difference between all of these fields, because they are often confused with each other. So artificial intelligence is a field in itself. Sometimes you may have seen that AI is presented as being a subfield of data science, but no, AI probably spans even before data science. So it is a totally different field. Yes, they overlap, the concepts, the techniques, or basically the main goal behind these two, they overlap very much, but let us treat them as two separate fields. So artificial intelligence is all about giving machines, mainly computer machines, the ability to mimic human behavior, or more simply saying, giving them the ability to do tasks which us humans can do very easily. So machines are not really good with tasks which involve some cognition. They are only good with computation. No matter what type of machine we are talking about, they are really good with computation, really power with computation and multitasking. But when some cognition, some intelligence is involved, then they are not really good, or we can totally say that they are dumb. So AI is all about overcoming that hurdle. Now, so artificial intelligence is all about giving machines basically human-like abilities. Now, it is ML, machine learning, and deep learning can be said as two subfields of artificial intelligence. So both of these are a set of techniques. They are definitely different from each other. So machine learning and deep learning, both of these are set of techniques which allow machines to mimic human behavior up to some extent. So let us understand how that is done. How machine learning and deep learning are different from normal programming paradigms, or why we need processes like that. So normal programming practices, or let's say basic programming, is all about input and output. So in that case, input and output should be clearly defined. Any problem which we can think of defining in a set as a set of instructions, that can be solved using simple programming. And input output should also be clearly defined. So whenever in a problem, if input and outputs are clearly defined, then we can think of writing a set of instructions which can solve that problem. So let's say a calculator. In a calculator, we can clearly think of writing a set of instructions which will take a few numbers or more, or merely an expression, and it can produce the corresponding output, the arithmetic, the result of all of those operations. Or it can be very complex, like a website or a simple app which behaves as the user interacts with it. But there are certain problems for which this process is not sufficient. So this was about programming. Now, let us try to understand what are the processes or what are the tasks where we feel the need of applying machine learning or deep learning. So tasks where we cannot think of writing a certain set of instructions or which cannot be defined in a certain set of instructions precisely, in those cases, we make use of machine learning or deep learning. For example, image classification. Let's say we have images of different animal species. For simplicity, let's say we have images of dogs, cats, and monkeys. So now there are different, they may be in different sizes and shapes, and they are in different colors, different facial features, different species. So there's a lot. It is almost impossible to write a set of instructions which can take an image as an input, and they can classify or predict, okay, what is this image or what is the class of this image. Same with, let's say, another example, sentiment analysis. So like English is very rich, or any language is very rich, and then there are a lot of other elements also, sentiments and sarcasm, different emotions, they can be reflected by the language. So again, it is impossible to write a set of instructions, no matter how long, but it is almost impossible. So that task can also not be done by programming. So in such cases, we take help of machine learning or deep learning techniques. How it is accomplished? We first need to have data. We basically select a suitable machine learning algorithm for that task, and we feed that algorithm input and output pair. So in case of image classification, it can be images and then their labels. Now, this machine learning algorithm will learn the pattern between that. It will basically learn the pattern which matches your input with your output, and it will output that pattern. Basically, we can say pattern, or we can also say a model. Now, once we have trained this algorithm on the input and output both, this algorithm will pick up the pattern in this data, and then that pattern or that model can be used for predicting classes, or basically any prediction for where we do not really know. For example, a data set can be prepared where we have a lot of images or a lot of data, and their labels are clearly defined, classes are clearly defined. This algorithm will pick up the pattern in that, and now we can use that pattern to predict for images or basically statements where the output is not really known. For example, let's take an example of predicting a numerical value, or a more suitable example will be COVID. So we feed this algorithm symptoms of patients and then their results. Symptoms can be, let's say, oxygen levels or body temperature, whether they have cough and cold or not, or their time, previous history, a lot of features. So we feed that, and then we feed the output, what was their actual result, whether they were positive or negative. Now this algorithm will learn the pattern. So we can use that pattern to predict whether new patients for which the output is not known, whether they are positive or not. So a lot of problems can be solved in this way. Now, artificial intelligence is the major field, and then machine learning is all about picking up patterns from the data. Deep learning is also a subfield of machine learning, which basically involves use of special techniques mainly related with neural networks. We will study more about these later in the course. So now, what was the point of this discussion? Here also we realized, first we understood why machine learning and deep learning are so important. So here also we realized this is also made possible only because of data. Again, data is very important. So we discussed two applications that power the industry: data analytics, business intelligence. There we also understood the use of data. And here also, in case of machine learning and deep learning, we understood that why data is so important. So just because the data is so much important, you may have also come across the term data is a new gold. So that totally makes sense. Everything is powered by data nowadays. Now, just because it is so important, so we need a set of techniques such as data acquisition, storage, let's say access, ETL tools, management and manipulation, let's say data manipulation, and visualization, to convey the results. More can be modeling and analysis, and probably much more. So when it comes to data, we need tools and technologies related to data acquisition and storage, data access and manipulation, data visualization, data modeling, analysis. Okay. And there are a lot of tools and technologies associated with each of these fields. There are different tools for data storage, databases and all, different tools for export, transport and load operations, different tools for manipulations, cloud, or let's say something like pandas, or visualization libraries, or even frameworks like Power BI, or many more, Tableau. Then modeling, there are different frameworks, machine learning frameworks, deep learning frameworks, and for analysis also. So data is very important, and to maintain and basically make use of that data, we need a lot of tools and technologies. So data science is all about this. Like in the beginning, I said, there isn't a simple definition which we can use to describe data science, but data science is rather a set of tools, technologies, and techniques which is all about data. Or we can simply say that data is all about making sense out of data, or it is the science of data, right? And which involves now to basically do all of these tools and technologies and techniques, concepts, they do not really are a part of a same field. Some of them are from computer science, or mostly AI and statistics, mathematics, some business intelligence. So data science, we can say, is a interdisciplinary fields which spans across multiple domains. And these are just a few of the processes in data science. So we can say data science, let's say business intelligence and statistics and maths, computer science and AI. So data science is basically, just a second, lies at the junction of all of these domains. So this is data science. It involves techniques, tools, and technologies from different domains, which basically help us perform all of this. Now, to understand more about data science, let us first describe what are the processes or steps involved in a data science project. So this will give us a clear understanding about how a data science project is defined or how it is accomplished. So any questions or queries till now? Is it making sense? First, we have understood the importance of data, how data powers, how data is so important for most of the processes. And then we have understood that different processes or tools and technologies with respect to data. And then we have a clear idea about what exactly is data science. So any doubts till now? No? Shall I proceed? Okay. Okay. So let me first write down the steps involved in the data science project. First, probably very important is problem statement. First, we define the problem for which we are looking for a solution. Then comes data acquisition. After that, data cleaning and pre-processing. Then comes exploratory data analysis. We'll understand all of these properly with an example. Then we have modeling. Next, evaluation and tuning. Then prediction and deployment. Now, each of these can be broken down into more several subfields. For example, there can be different problems involved in data acquisition. So this is the most tedious process, data acquisition and data cleaning and pre-processing. Again, pre-processing also, there are a lot of steps involved in EDA also, but we will talk majorly about these 7 steps. So for understanding this data science process easily, let us consider a simple problem. So we can treat it as a case study. So in 1998, around 1998, around that time. So basically a solution was needed, an automated solution was needed to recognize digits or let's say understand the handwritten digits from different documents. So for that, the problem statement can be recognizing digits or handwritten digits or alphabet recognition. So this is our problem statement. We need to design a solution which will be able to recognize digits on, let's say, checks or letters or documents and others. So first step is data acquisition. So we need data. Basically, we need a lot of images of handwritten digits if we want to accomplish this task. We need to acquire a lot of images. The artificial images can also be created manually. Then those images need to be labeled manually. Let's say we have acquired 50,000 images of different digits. Let us talk about digits and not alphabets. So let us say we have acquired 50,000 images of digits and then we have labeled them also. So each image is labeled, whether it is a 1 or 2 or 9, basically from 0 to 9. So this is a very important process. Now, this is the most tedious process. These images will be in different shapes and sizes. They might be in different patterns. So we need to clean it properly. We need to take care of their resolutions and all. So let's say we have decided we represent each of all the images on 50 by 50 scale, let's say 50 pixels by 50 pixels. How images are represented, that we will learn later in the course. And let's say they are grayscale, okay, black and white images. So now we have images, we have cleaned those images, we have pre-processed those images. Next comes EDA. Now, when it comes to images, the exploratory data analysis doesn't play a greater role, but when we have tabular data, structured data, like we had the example of COVID. So their EDA is more. Here it can be simply whether the data set is balanced or not. There are all kinds of images present. So let's say EDA is performed and we have realized that data set is balanced, and we ran some other tests. Now we are ready for the modeling phase. All our images are of the same size. They are grayscale. They are properly labeled. One more step here can be data augmentation. That is totally optional. Now the modeling phase. In the modeling phase, we basically run a lot of different models from machine learning, deep learning, and we need to figure out which model properly suits this problem. So for this type of problem, a neural network approach might be better because they are believed to perform better on unstructured data, like in this case, images. More specifically, convolutional neural network. So this was really a problem, and Jan Lee Kun was a, let's say, researcher who developed the solution to this problem, and it was also a very big stepping stone when it comes to deep learning and neural network, especially convolution neural network. So the solution he proposed was named LeNet 5. It was the first convolution neural network and was like a stepping stone for further development. So we will just call it a neural network. So we have decided that we have prepared an architecture. We have trained the architecture. We have trained our neural network to solve this problem. The concept is still same. Let's say we have our neural network. Now we feed these images. Now there are different ways, different processes, but let's say we just feed these images and their labels. So images and their labels to this model. Now this neural network will pick up, after some training, it will pick up the pattern between these images and their labels. Basically, what are the features of a certain image which make it a 0 or a 1 or 2, 3, so, or 4, basically 0 to 9. What really makes up a certain digit. Now we can use this trained neural network, or let's say model, to predict or basically recognize digits on new documents. First, we prepare a data set which is already a labeled set of images of digits, and then we can train a neural network on that data set, which will help us further in recognizing digits from our document. So this is the modeling phase. Next comes the evaluation and tuning. We need to evaluate on different situations that how this neural network or this model performs on test data sets, or let's say different documents and all. Then we need to tune it, whether its performance can be improved or not. And then we can finally think about deployment. So this is how a data science process looks like. Let us take one more example where we include a simpler tabular data. So we need to, let's say cryptocurrencies are in trend these days. So we need to prepare a model which will predict the growth of a certain cryptocurrency. So first of all, we need to define the problem statement, which is, let's say, predict the growth of a cryptocurrency, or basically how it will look like, how much progress it will have, or what will be its rate after some time. So first of all, the data acquisition phase in this case will, I think the best solution will be to scrape multiple websites, multiple data sources, which have a lot of information about cryptocurrencies. Then we properly clean them, we properly handle the data types, and basically prepare a good looking file or a data frame in this case. Then we perform exploratory data analysis. So which features help us most in predicting the growth of that certain or particular cryptocurrency. Then comes the modeling phase. We run different machine learning approaches, or maybe even deep learning approaches. We decide which one is performing best. We can even think of creating an ensemble. Then comes the phase of evaluation and tuning. We properly evaluate our model, and then we see whether we can tune something to improve its performance. And then finally comes deployment. So from the previous data available, our model will learn the pattern, okay, how a cryptocurrency is growing or on what features it depends. And then we can use that pattern to predict how its growth will be in future. So these are the main steps involved in a data science process. Although each of these steps again have several sub steps, but you will definitely learn that in this course. Okay, so that is it from my side, and I will be really happy to answer a few questions regarding this.
So since Utkarsh, I'm Prashant here.
Yeah, hi Prashant.
Hi. So I come from a very different background. So I am not much into technical. How much do you think I'll be able to understand all of these things, which you explain me?
Please, can you repeat the question?
What I'm telling is, I come from a very different domain. So I'm not from the technical. I'm not from the coding. Right. So even though you
Okay.
explain me, I could understand. This is what we do in data. This is what the basics of data. So while we're performing in a company, let's say using the coding or the languages. So how do you think I'll be able to adopt the skills? What which you're going to teach me?
Yeah, definitely. So this session was totally about introduction to data science, or let's say help the students understand what data science is all about. So here we first understood why data is so important. I discussed two most in trend or most important use cases, analytics and let's say machine learning and AI. So there we realized the
All right.
importance of data. Okay, why data is so important and why it is like so much hype around data these days. Then as data is so important, then I simply mentioned a few of the important fields involving data, let's say storage, acquisition, access, visualization, and basically, so all of those again involve a lot of tools and technologies. So then we realized that data science is not really, it cannot really be defined by a simple definition. It is rather more of a collection of different tools and technologies revolving around data. So everything related to data, whether we are talking about storage, whether we are talking about, let's say, access, manipulation, visualization, and several other things, modeling and analysis. So by that, we understood what data science is exactly all about. And then I simply mentioned a few of the steps or gave the example. Now it is totally fine. It was just to give an overview how a data science project may look like.
Okay.
But as we move forward in this course,
Okay.
then we will definitely understand all of these steps properly. All the modules have been created in such a way that they cover the complete domain, right?
Okay.
So you will definitely be able
Okay.
to apply data science to your
Okay.
business domain or wherever you are working.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Utkarsh, Rajiv this side.
Yeah, hi Rajiv.
Hi. So, whatever you told, like in the training itself, everything is clear. But I have one doubt. Okay, the doubt is like how easy is to like as Prasant asked you regarding like the person is from different domain. Okay, so getting to know about all this that I can get, like people can understand. Okay, even me, take an example, I can understand. But how it will be useful to me, like if I'll tell I'm from sales background. Okay.
Right. So you're from sales background. So I think in your
A better
case,
career.
again, it will be really important. As I said, the data analytics process. So you make, I think wherever you are working, you definitely keep records and maintain a lot of data regarding sales of previous years. Or I think you are running. So can I assume if you are talking about sales, you are working with Star Agile? Can I make this assumption?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay, let's say you are working with Star Agile. So Star Agile runs a lot of courses, right? They run a lot of courses, and then they definitely maintain the enrollment data or the performance of students and different maybe performance of even instructors also. So if you are from sales background, you can really use these techniques, descriptive analytics or even a machine learning model. You can understand the market trends by using the data. So for example, I think most of it comes from intuition also, but it can be also backed by descriptive statistics. So now all of you have decided to really focus on the data science program. It might definitely come from some market study, right? You may have seen that data science is really in trend. So if we release this course, it will really help our students. So that is an example of business analytics. Now you may have done it by intuition, just by looking at the market trend, but if you have a lot of data available, a lot of results available, then you can do that. Moreover, you can definitely use the available data to fine tune your program, or basically check the which program might be useful, let's say, or based on the feedback of the students, then again you can do some exploratory data analysis. So what students are loving mostly, or what they're really looking for.
Okay.
And then that later finally obviously can be used for sales, what we should target. Let's say you figure out our program uh, from the past data, our program is more suitable, or let's say freshers are showing more interest, so definitely you can fine tune your sales strategy or marketing strategy to target freshers more. It can also, you can, if you have the data available, you can also apply it in the marketing domain. So basically uh, from where we are getting the best results based on the analysis. Is it from television advertisement? Is it from social media? Is it from, let's say, some YouTube channel? So based on that, you can definitely fine tune your sales strategy to target specific audience, or basically where to invest most.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Utkarsh, this is Suman here.
Yeah, hi Suman.
Hello.
Yeah, can you
Utkarsh,
hear
can
me?
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh, okay, and
Sorry, I'm not. Are you
completely
speaking? I'm not really able to hear you
really
properly.
help. Can you hear me now, Utkarsh?
Yeah, now it is clear.
Yeah. So I'm Suman, right? So I completed my BE in computer science.
Okay. Again, I think
Hello.
I have lost you. Yeah, like I sometimes can hear your voice and sometimes it is not present.
Just a minute, Utkarsh. Just a minute.
Can other participants confirm? Are they also facing this problem?
We are able to hear.
Okay.
Utkarsh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Suman. So I've just completed my BE in computer science.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was told by my seniors and my friends, telling that data science is the future now. So how do
Yes.
you think once I do this course, what would be the job opportunities for me being a fresher?
Okay. So this course basically covers all the important domains in data science. So we have a module with Python also. So that module only will prepare you for a role of a Python developer. There are a lot of opportunities related to Python in the industry. And
Mhm.
the next module is data analysis with Python. So again, data analysts are in demand. There is huge demand. If you see the trends, almost no matter what type of organization we are talking about, everybody needs a data analyst, or let's say a data visualization expert. So the second module will prepare you for that. And then we have more advanced modules such as machine learning and deep learning. So they will again prepare you for the roles of data scientists and machine learning engineer and deep learning engineer. So data science is why data science is a booming career, because no matter what type of industry we are talking about, there will always be need for a data scientist or data analyst. So all the 4 modules have been designed in such a way, and all of them prepare you for a specific type of job. Like even if you do only first 2 modules, then you are ready for the job of a data analyst, and then later ones definitely prepare you for more advanced roles. So after doing this course, you will be open to multiple opportunities: data analyst, Python developer, data visualization expert, or machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, or data scientist.
Thank you, Utkarsh. We got the point.
Okay. Yeah, any more questions?
So, Utkarsh, my name is Sunil. I have close to say about 2 years of work experience into finance. I understand that you've been trying to give a lot of information for a fresher and different domain aspects. So, when you talk about a data scientist, is that an overall combination that a person gets the knowledge about it, or is there any specific kind of specification? Like for example, if I'm good at Python, so will I become a Python expert? Or if in case if I'm good at R language, so will I become an R language expert? So can you just describe me about that?
Yeah, sure. So you need to give me some time to explain this. So data science, as I said in the beginning, data science is not really a single field. It is not really about a single technology. It is an interdisciplinary field. A data scientist needs to know about, so Python is definitely the most preferred language. So he needs to know programming language, let's say Python. A data scientist needs to be aware of concepts related to statistics also. So he needs to know statistics. He needs to have some business understanding related to the field in which he's working. So a data scientist can be associated with in the sales domain also, or maybe in the finance department also. So with time, you need to develop understanding of your particular field also. And then we have machine learning and deep learning. So all of these are uh, fields, individual fields. Like if you know Python, you can be a Python developer. You can have a job. If you are good with analysis and visualization, then you can be a data analyst. If you know machine learning, let's say classical machine learning algorithms, you can be a machine learning engineer or entry-level machine learning engineer. If you know deep learning, then you can be a deep learning engineer specializing in computer vision or NLP. But a data scientist needs to know all of these. Like he doesn't need to be expert in all of these, but he needs to have a good idea. Like he's the main guy, he's the problem solver. How to use these techniques. He may have experts, or let's say more people in his team who are experts in, let's say they are data engineer or DevOps experts, basically a lot of different people. So he is the one who understands all of these fields properly, and he understands how to use or which tools and techniques to use to solve a particular problem. So no, if you only know Python or if you only know machine learning, then you may be fit for, let's say, a machine learning job or a Python developer job. But to be a data scientist, you need to know, not necessarily an expert, let's say, not expert in computer vision or NLP or anything else, but you need to know about all of these fields so that you can really help your organization or wherever you're working solve problems.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope.
you so much for having that concern addressed.
Thank you. Okay. Any more questions?
Nothing from my end.
Okay. So then that's it from my side. I hope I answered all of your questions.
Yes.
Okay. One more thing, like I feel like I rushed the concept a little bit. Like I was told I need to finish within 30 minutes, but this topic, this intro to data science topic alone can span across, let's say, a complete 3 to 4 hour session. So it can be definitely improved.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Okay. So